Hello, everyone. I am Brenda Navin. I'm the CEO and the founder of Launch My Health. I'm so excited that you've joined us today. I think we have some new people who don't know anything about Launch My Health, but many of you that I saw in the registration know a little bit about us. But we're going to kind of start from scratch. Who is Launch My Health? What do we do? And how can we help you bring food as medicine to your organization? So the way today is going to work is I'm going to talk about or show you, do a food demo, mocktail demo on my favorite hibiscus tea mocktail. And we're going to kind of do this in stages because we've got to cook some things. So I'm going to talk and cook. I want to share my story about Launch My Health, who we are, how we got started, why I'm so excited about food as medicine. And this will probably take around 10 minutes-ish. And then I'm going to toss it over to Amanda, who is my wonderful counterpart sitting at home in her office. And she's going to share a demo of our product so you actually get to see what we do if you're not familiar with it. So to get started, I'm going to get this mocktail going. We are making a hibiscus tea mocktail. Traditionally, this is more of a Mexican tea, and I've had this for years. Back from when I worked in healthcare, we had somebody who shared this recipe. We've made some modifications to it, but it's a great way to have a non-alcoholic beverage for any holiday season. It's great year round, but especially at this time of the year. And I think you'll know why in a second because of what I'm putting in here. So I have your recipe calls for a gallon, which is, a nice amount for a family or a gathering. I've halved that. So I have uh, half a gallon of water in my pot right now. I've preheated it because of course I don't have time to get it all boiling in 10 minutes. So I'm going to start that heat back up again. And your recipe calls for some items to put in here to simmer for about 5 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add those, stir it, and then I'm going to talk to you a little bit. So one of my favorite things in this recipe is cinnamon. And cinnamon, as you know, with Lunch My Health, we're all about food as medicine. Cinnamon actually has health benefits and can help manage your blood sugar, keep it more stable. I also have fresh cloves here. Now, one of the things that I love about cooking is you can modify the recipe at any time. You can add more or less of what you like. It's not like baking where you have to be precise. I love cinnamon, so I'm doubling my cinnamon. Your recipe calls for cinnamon sticks. I'm using powder today. I do have cinnamon sticks, but I kind of like the powder. And then I'm adding in the cloves here too. So I'm just going to add that into my water and give that a stir. The other thing with this tea, hibiscus can be a little bit bitter. So adding a little bit of sweetness is really helpful. And it just takes away that bitterness. Now, the beautiful thing about cooking on your own at home is that you can control the ingredients. So you can change how much cinnamon, you can change how much sweetener you add to it. And so I'm going to add less sweetener to this. I'm just going to add a quarter of a cup. And you can even add less, or you could add none, whatever you prefer. That's the beauty of cooking, is you get to do what you want in your kitchen for your likes. Now, your recipe calls for honey. I'm actually not consuming honey right now because I'm doing a little nutrition thing where I don't want to be consuming honey. So I want to actually be able to drink this. So I'm adding organic cane sugar into mine. You could do agave syrup too. Now, if you are choosing to do agave syrup or honey, you want to add that after and not while it's cooking here because the heat will mess with the consistency of that and the flavor. So I'm just adding in that sugar now so that it will kind of melt into this and all the flavors will meld together. Now, the other thing your recipe calls for is a guajillo chili, which adds a very kind of smoky flavor to this beverage. I actually, embarrassingly, don't have any guajillo chilies. I thought that I did, but I do make this frequently, and I actually consumed all of them. So I had to figure out and talk to our chef, what do I do to replace this? This was my emergency call, and there's things, 4 spices that you can add to make this taste like guajillo chili. So if you have this in your cupboard, you can do this. That's what I love about cooking. We've got paprika, cumin, chili powder, and a little bit of cacao powder. So I'm just going to add that in to mimic that flavor. Now, if you had the guajillo chilies, you'd want to wait to add those until this was done cooking. All right, so I'm gonna let this simmer while I chat with you a little bit about Launch My Health. So again, for those of you who are unfamiliar with who we are, Launch My Health started 5 years ago. We are on a mission to teach people what to eat and how to cook. That's what we're doing today in the mocktail portion, and make it accessible and fun for everyone. And our vision really is to bring food as medicine to 90 million kitchen tables. So we need employers to help us do that, to get this message out to everyone. And my firm belief is that everyone deserves to have the education that they need to bring food as medicine to their kitchen table. Now, I want to ask Amanda to pull up a couple of polls right now on mocktails as this is kind of steaming. And Amanda, can you pull up our first question? If you guys could respond, that would be great. Mocktail, this is a market size. What is the projected market size for craft mocktails by 2030? So can you answer that question? And I should have the answers coming up right now. Okay, you guys the answer is actually 16 billion. So we didn't get anybody who got that right. It is just growing gangbusters. Right now, the market is $8 billion and is expected to grow. And part of the reason for that is your next question. So let's see if you can get this one right. What is the biggest factor driving the rise of non-alcoholic mocktails in the market? They cost less than alcoholic drinks, a growing focus on wellness and moderation, or lastly, people want flavorful, lower sugar alternatives to soda. Let's see what we got for an answer here. Yes, you guys got it all right, 100%. Good job, everyone. People are really focused on the health benefits of not consuming alcohol. And I'm going to pause while I talk about that. When the food's ready or the beverage is ready, we got to kind of roll with it here and be flexible. So I'm going to turn this off. This recipe, this has been cooking for a while. Next step in this is we're going to add our hibiscus tea to this. Now you can add actual hibiscus tea flowers. This is one way you can do it. I'm not going to do it this way today. And they just look, sorry if that was really crinkly for you guys, but they're just flowers that you would add, drop right in here. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to actually add hibiscus tea bags today. And that's really for mess control. So these are the tea bags. I'm just going to let them sit in here and steep. Now remember, if I had guajillo chilies, I would add them now, but I did the powdered version. So I'm just going to let this steep. And then I'm going to be back to talking to you. All right, give that a little stir. The thing that is so beautiful about hibiscus is it has this ruby red color, and it's just beautiful. And I think especially seasonally, it's great. But again, it's a year-round delicious beverage. All right, I'm gonna get back to talking to you guys about Launch My Health while this steeps here. So back to the market for health and well-being related to mocktails, it is a growing industry. And we have that sober curious movement where people are just curious about being sober and leading a sober lifestyle. Who's really leading that? It's the millennials and Gen Z. And the market for this is just growing, as you can tell by that fact about the mocktail market. Now, one question, if you want to chime in on this, is just, if I ask you the question, what beverage do you think is the most popular in the ready-to-drink beverages? Do you think it's like mojitos? Is it margaritas? Is it mules? Does anybody have an answer to that? What do you think the answer is? We'll see if anybody wants to chime in on this.
Nobody's chiming in yet.
Not one person? Okay, I'm going to give you the answer. It's mojitos. So it's 24% of the revenue share. So apparently mojitos are very popular. Not my favorite thing, but that's what the market is telling us. So with this kind of health and wellness focus on this mocktail market, as people are moving into that, that's really just kind of shines light on food as medicine as well. One of the reasons why I started Launch My Health is I worked in healthcare for over 22 years, and I'm a registered dietitian. I was at the bedside and was almost immediately frustrated with our healthcare system, and found that it was just this revolving door, and we were really treating people like sick care. Nobody was actually really getting better. And I wasn't able to use nutrition how I thought I was going to be able to use it. So 22 years later, enough was enough for me. And during the COVID pandemic, I said, I got to leave. I got to start my own company. And that's how Launch My Health was born. And very fortunate to have the team that I worked with in healthcare join me. So our chef Jeremy, Megan Green, Amanda on the team, Maddie, we were all together. We all started this company together, and we're growing this company together again to bring food as medicine to all of you in your homes. Our goal is to get into as many homes as we possibly can. And one of the things that is so important to me is to make food as medicine scalable, accessible, and really fun for people to take care of their health. This is fun stuff. We get to learn about food. It tastes good. It's social. One of the things that I like about what we're doing here with these mocktails is you have the flexibility to do whatever you want with nutrition. And there's this mindfulness component. You're a part of the food. You got to make it. So that's what we do at Launch My Health. Amanda's going to share more about that when she gets into the demo. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how you can actually make these really pretty, serve them, I think, even for yourself on a daily basis, or if you're having a party. So the next step in this, what we would do is strain this. I'm not actually going to strain this out just because of the mess factor. I'm going to be honest. This would go into the refrigerator, cool it. If you want, you can have it hot too. I like it cold, but again, it's your preference, whatever you want to do. So I did make this last night. Embarrassingly, I had a full pitcher last night of this and drank a lot of it. So had a little bit today too. So this is my pitcher of what I made last night. One way that I love to serve this is to pour this into a glass. And again, it's so pretty because of the bright red color. And this is natural from the hibiscus. There's no food coloring. There's no additives. These are all natural ingredients. And traditionally what we would do is serve this with pineapple. So I like to put it on a skewer with some basil. And then I think to make it extra pretty, you can buy dehydrated oranges or different dehydrated fruit. Again, this is like the world is your oyster. You can do whatever you want here. And I put an orange slice on there. And I show you what that looks like in the camera. It's so pretty. And then you can just pop that in the glass. And how pretty is this to serve to a guest? I know you probably can't see it that well on the camera, but that's a great way to serve it. Looks beautiful, mocktail. Tastes even better. Now, another favorite way, and you could do this with, again, any type of beverage. I did this morning. I just made these ice cubes in the silicone tray. I have an orange and I put in pomegranates because it's very seasonal. And I'm just going to pop out one of these ice cubes, which you traditionally see in cocktails. So it's the big ice cube that goes in here. Again, very pretty, super easy. Takes about, a minute to make. Pour in the hibiscus and you have this beautiful ice cube in there that's floating around and takes a while to melt. So it's not going to melt or really overhydrate your drink. And then if you want to, you can add in, another, like an orange slice on top if you want, whatever you want to make it look extra special for your guests or for yourself on a daily basis. I'm going to take a little sip too. Delicious. Of course, I knew it was delicious. I made it last night and drank a bunch, so really good. I'm going to toss it over to Amanda now. We'll have time at the end for questions too. But I hope you enjoyed this mocktail and I hope you make it at least once and tell me what you think of it too. I think it's delicious. One of my favorites.
Thank you, Brenda. I'm setting up my screen here. Wonderful. Thanks for that handoff, Brenda. I have had the hibiscus tea and it is just hits the spot and it's so festive. The red, it's so nice. So thanks for making that for everybody, Brenda. So my name is Amanda Knutson and I lead customer experience and product for Launch My Health. I'm really excited to show you about some of our new products and how we're creating the ultimate customer experience for everyone. So we are all about bringing that food as medicine to the masses by teaching people what to eat and how to cook. Those are the two main things when you're thinking about how can I improve my health on a day-to-day basis. Got to know those two things. We deliver that service in three main ways through our live webinars, our digital courses, and private appointments. And I'll explain a little bit more about those in a minute here. So Brenda's story is so powerful and inspiring. I hope you feel a little pep in your step that people are out there trying to make a difference in people's healths and can be supportive to you and whatever your strategy is for your employees and team members to help make wellness just a little bit easier. So we're growing very quickly. We have companies from all about, I think 50 people is maybe our smallest one to 600,000 people. So, and everybody in between. And we're always asked the question, who is the right fit? What's your perfect size? And really, I would say it's not a size of company, but it's your passion and your company's determination to try something new to try to solve the healthcare crisis and to serve your people in an innovative way. So these are some key reasons that we hear time and time again why clients are choosing us. Getting real outcomes beyond just number of clicks and time, in sign-ins to an app on your phone. What are the real health outcomes? We're able to measure that. Our integration, we are expanding into Personify in the next year, which I know is a popular tool for many employers. We're in Gomo, Advantage Health, multiple different Wellbeats and LifeSpeak, so multiple different places that you can access our content. And even beyond that, I know we have a few of our clients on today. I hope you would agree that getting our services available to your people is a seamless process. So really pride ourselves on that integration. Employees really like it. I would say they love us. We hear time and time again that finally we're cutting through the noise of what they're hearing on social media, through their friends, at their book club. I mean, you just are constantly being inundated with information of how much protein you should eat. That's a really popular one right now. Or try this fad diet or that fad diet, or are you taking your magnesium supplement? All this stuff. We all have different bodies and need to support our bodies in different ways. And it's hard to know what's right for you. And what's right for you might not be right for your sister-in-law. So how do we help people kind of cut through that noise and understand that? And then our innovative solution. So I think Brenda, shared this about how our business model is targeting accessibility, affordability, scalability, and the key ingredient is that we're helping people understand what is happening in their bodies and then teaching them those lifelong skills to improve it. So beyond a lot of times you might get a product that says, here are 10 snacks on the go, or here's a meal plan that you can do with your, an easy shopping list for this classic macronutrient put together. You can Google that stuff. AI can set that up for you. What we're teaching people are the real skills of how do you read a recipe, or as you saw from Brenda today, how do you modify a recipe based off of what your ingredients are or what your taste preferences are. And with the skills that we're teaching people, we're boosting their confidence so that they can make those decisions every single day. They don't need a scanner on their phone to just tell them if a packaged product is healthy. We're teaching people how do you read those labels, those types of things. And I will say, I love to say this, once you learn how to cut an onion, you never forget it. That's been one of the biggest skills that I appreciate. So we have proven impact, as you can see, all of our different levels of employer that we serve here. I think I would just always like to see when you're getting metrics back from your vendors and your partners, what's your engagement? How are people actually accessing your content? And this is, I think, these are really great numbers, 75% to 12% for those really large enterprise companies. Uh, Now, those are people who, are engaged, but do they stay engaged? So that's where you get over here at the 73% course completion rate. That is unheard of in that people who start our courses online, they actually complete them. So they're learning those lifelong skills. You're not getting that big drop off rate that I think a lot of solutions have. So I kind of shared, we're helping people understand what to eat and how to cook. And that all focuses on different ways that we're targeting. So your personal health and well-being goals, then there is a lot of eating more vegetables and fruits, not surprise, surprise. But when you tell somebody that, okay, great, how do I cook it? So that's the key piece is we're teaching people how to cook and make those things just be bursting with flavor and so much more easy to get dinner on the table night after night after night. Then we do have the health support for specific health conditions. Now, in our marketing, we intentionally do not say we have a diabetes program or a hypertension program. And I just want you to sit back and think if your employer were to say, hey, you should really do this program because I know you have diabetes, how would that make you feel? And what we've found is it doesn't make people feel good, especially coming from their employer. And so then they might not engage or be ready to take the next step. But when we come at them and say, hey, we can help you with your joint pain that you're feeling day in, day out, caused by your inflammation, and diabetes diagnosis, then if we can help them alleviate that joint pain or skin condition or gut health or hot flashes, they are way more likely to engage and to stick with the solutions that we're teaching them. So I think that that's just I wanted to highlight the difference there. And then our specialized focus, which you'll see in our courses. So I talked a little bit about our different services and products. And so we have this digital platform. This is the be all end all, just a great total population strategy that can help all of your employees and the whole household because we know that the person who is grocery shopping and cooking, they have a lot of influence over the health of the entire household and they might not be the employee. So we want to make sure that everybody has access to it. It also comes with these incredible workbooks, which I'll give you a sneak peek at, a resource library with video shorts, ebooks, and access to our next service, monthly webinars. So that's what you get with this digital platform. It's very affordable, very accessible, easy to turn on. This is the thing that we'll be starting with in Personify to offer to everybody because it's a great way to just give people great information at the flip of a switch. Launch Live, those are our monthly webinars, and this is how we get that interaction going. We just had one yesterday with Megan, our lead dietitian, and she talked about the interaction between sleep and nutrition and what you can do. And the chat was hot. I mean, the questions were coming in nonstop on, all of these myths that people or suggestions people hear, are they real? Are they not? Is it right for me? Learning about melatonin and cortisol and that relationship. I think the cool thing is we didn't talk about blue light. We all know, don't look at your phone after 8:30 or whatever it is. You know that. But how your cortisol, is supposed to spike in the morning, and here's how you can support that, and how you can support melatonin production in the evening. We get into the science a little bit to help people understand and maybe have that intrinsic motivation to make those changes. So that's just one example of the Launch Live. Other topics that we're doing in the new year are the autoimmune upsurge. So all of these autoimmune conditions are spiking. Why? And how can nutrition support it? Cancer and nutrition we're talking about. And then just healthy hacks for a healthy home or easy hacks for a healthy home. So how can you set up a grab and go snack bar in your kitchen? Um, and of course, we are featuring Chef Jeremy. He's going to be making chiaquias next year, upping your appetizer game. So how can you bring some great appetizers to a family gathering or a barbecue? So it's really, we're able to respond to those trending topics and have that interaction. This is also a service that it's like the easiest thing that if you're not sure, or if your leaders aren't sure that they're quite ready for nutrition, they just want to dip their toe a little bit. This is a very accessible way that you can test the waters. Next up, we've got our private nutrition appointments and our Launch Med, which is our GLP-1 supportive program. So these are where you can get that really deep dive, one-on-one personalized support for your employees who want more of the hand-holding, or maybe have a more uh, complicated diagnosis or situation that they're dealing with. So with that, I'm going to show you what it's all about, how it works. And this web page that I'm showing you, this is when you have our digital subscription, your company will get a customized branded landing page with information if you offer incentives or don't, if you have different campaigns, those things, you're able to add all of that here. So you have those items, and then I want to go to these courses. So we say that we market and we help people with their health goals. What are those health goals? So we have nutrition courses and cooking courses, and they go through a variety of health goals. Inflammation, this is a great catch-all for all those chronic conditions, really targeting inflammation at the root. Gut health, women's hormones. We're going to get into our other women's hormones class. This is for perimenopause. It's one of our most popular courses, and we knew we were only getting at a certain section of the population, so we're expanding that resource to another generation of women. Brain health, prenatal nutrition. The elimination diet and FODMAPs course are kind of that next level for gut health that can be a little bit more. It all depends on what your commitment or your availability to really focus on nutrition is, and these are for that next level. And then our resource pantry. Culinary courses, like I said, how do you make this all easier to do? And so these are our different cooking courses led by Chef Jeremy. And I just want to highlight Home Chef Pro Foundations quick, and then I'm going to give you a preview of our newest course, which is all about the cycle years. And so Home Chef Pro for the home cook, essentially. Chef Jeremy used to teach chefs how to cook at Le Cordon Bleu. He was an instructor. So he's taking that curriculum and those skills into your home kitchen and teaching you all about knife skills, building flavor. What does sauteing and roasting and broasting and grilling, what are all the differences there, and when to apply those different cooking techniques? And it comes with over 60 or 70 recipes, just chock full of recipes written by Jeremy. Now, what's super cool is we did at the time only, might still be the only, but first ever randomized controlled study in a healthcare setting where we took a group of people in primary care who had prediabetes, who were diagnosed with prediabetes. Half of them followed doctor's orders. The other half followed doctor's orders and took this course. This course never mentions diabetes. It only talks about how to cook whole, fresh foods. 6 months after the course, we found statistically significant improvements in A1C levels, blood pressure, both systolic and diastolic, BMI, your body composition, and of course, increased vegetable consumption, increased number of home-cooked meals, decrease of fast food and convenience foods. And really, I mean, unfortunately, the people who were in the control group who just followed doctor's orders, those results actually worsened. Their health outcomes worsened after 6 months, where ours improved at a statistically significant rate. So I just think this is really cool that you can talk about just food and making food accessible, and health outcomes will improve. That's our whole approach. So I want to check the questions here. I think Brenda is, oh yeah, Jeremy does have a fan club. So I want to show you, we've got every year, we spend about 8 months out of the year. It's a big undertaking to develop a new course. And this course, by popular demand, is Nutrition for Women's Hormones, the Cycle Years. And so this is targeting women who are, young adult through early stages of perimenopause. And this is a nice way to just see how our courses are set up in general, see what they kind of look like. So you have your navigation over on the side. A lot of it is video content, learning from our different instructions. Both Brenda and Megan teach this class. And so you get to see, a little introduction here, information. We're doing we do a pre and a post survey to see health outcomes and behavior change for those to make sure that we're hitting the mark with it. What also is really cool is we have a built-in community. So all of our courses connect to a community where you can ask the instructor questions and hear back. We do regular postings. People are interacting, asking specific questions about their goals and needs that they're learning about in the course. So that's really fun to have that there. Then each nutrition course has a resource hub, and they include a workbook and a recipe book. So just for example on this workbook, this is so helpful because you hear this content, video learnings about, and I'll get into the content. What are the hormones that impact your reproductive health? You get a one pager on. You hear about that, and then you get this awesome workbook to better understand and remember what it is. So you can download this workbook and use it as a reference guide. So this is our demo version. It's over 65 pages at this point with a ton of information on here were the key things that you learned in these video modules. Here are the high levels of your reproductive hormones. And then you get, like, this is stuff that you learn in middle school health class, but you don't, if you're not in healthcare, you don't remember it. So we're giving people these cheat sheets to understand what's normal, what's not normal. How do I talk to my doctor about this stuff? And then specific tools to help them move forward. The same thing happens with our recipes. So Chef Jeremy has created recipes for whatever for each of these courses specifically. So these are recipes in this course are going to help you balance out your hormones. In our inflammation course, the recipes are all anti-inflammatory recipes. In our gut health programs, they're all gut health recipes. So you're getting supportive tools to help make those long-term changes. So then you get into the content. What I am so pumped about, which made this extra fun, was we have a targeted market audience for this. They're women and they're in a certain generation. And let me tell you, I'm at the higher end of that generation, but I have a lot of young sisters and a lot of people that we know who are in this era, and they're all watching these specific reality TV shows. So we took for the hormones, just can't keep track. What is luteinizing hormone? What's progesterone? What's estrogen? When do they spike? When don't they? How do we make them better? That kind of goes in one ear and out the other. So we put them into characters that come up in these reality shows. So let me know if you have an idea of what reality show we're kind of playing off of here. But that's how we're making this content really memorable so that we know when people remember this stuff and it sticks, they can then take action on it. Because if it's at a too high level or even too pared down, it just doesn't create behavior change. So we're really excited about this this feature of the course. And then we've got a little script of what's happening with those hormones in their reality show throughout. Also in this course, then we're going into, we talk about what is your menstrual cycle? And then we're going into what are some of these key conditions that are really big mysteries for a lot of women and so distracting and kind of all consuming, especially if you're dealing with symptoms that seem out of control or you're just not getting answers on how to better manage them. So these are the specific conditions we're going through. Then focusing on what can you do about it and what's the right amount of protein for me? We hear about detoxification. What does that mean? Is that a juice cleanse? No, we talk about the real science behind it. One of the things I'm most excited about, besides the reality TV show Hormones, is this advocating for your health section. This I'm hoping that you all have not experienced this, but I'm guessing you have, where you go to the doctor and you have questions and you're not getting the answers, or you're feeling like they're not understanding you, or you forget to ask the question that you were planning on it because you're nervous about whatever. We're giving you tips on how to advocate for yourself at the doctor. Labs, what labs can help you get more resources for these hormone related conditions, and then how do common medications kind of interfere or interact with your hormones, and what can you do about it. Then we go through different considerations if you're looking at a supplement, if you're looking to get pregnant. Bone health, this is a very Brenda's all about bone health right now, so she'll talk your ear off about bone health. It's so important, talking about that, especially for women. And then the signs of entering perimenopause. So this course, it is a world tour. It's giving these women answers, and not only that, but hopefully feeling like finally somebody understands what I'm going through, and there are things that I can do about whatever my symptoms are right now. And I just want to end with, these are this is how all of our courses, how they're all built. Our prenatal course, our gut health course, our brain health and longevity course. They're really targeting what people maybe have just been so frustrated with and not getting those answers. So wanted to pause and bring Brenda on as I share our final next steps as we're wrapping up today. So please take a moment and ask your questions, because we have a few minutes here where we can answer any questions, but then I will show these next steps. So because you're here live today, we have an exclusive discount available to you. So if you or your organization signs a contract by the end of February, this is for new clients, we have a 15% off discount. How you do that is you book a call, and then you can get pricing, and we'll talk to you about, like, okay, what's your goal, what's your culture, and then help you figure out what those services are that might best serve your people. And then if you want more, our next launch live is Festive Fizz, which is more mocktails. We have Chef Jeremy. He's making, I think, 3 or 4 different mocktails for the holiday season. So that'll be really fun. And Brenda, I want to give you a moment here as we're looking at questions. Are there any things that you want to share before we sign off?
Well, one thing I did want to quick share, Amanda, you mentioned my passion for bone health, and I will just share I do have a passion for bone health. And the reason is it's typically something that your doctor starts talking to you about when you are in your 50s, in your 60s, probably your 60s, you get a bone scan done. And the most important time for women to be looking at bone health is when they are in their 20s. They hit peak bone mass at age 22, but when do doctors start talking about bone health? It's too late. It's way too late. So anyway, this is for women to help them understand what medications, what kind of lifestyle things that they need to be looking at for bone health. So, um, and lastly, I think for me, I just want to share too that my passion around food is medicine, really bringing it to the masses, making it affordable, accessible, scalable. We don't need to see a dietitian one-on-one. It's great if you can, great if you need it, but we have to find a different way to approach our health, and we have to get more upstream. We have to look at how do we create health in for everybody, not just those that are sick. And it's a continuum, and people need to have the education. They need to build the skills, and that's what we're here for to do. And we can supplement other health modalities, other solutions, and we're really happy to do it. And we know that people love our content too. It's the way people want to consume or digest, pardon the pun, information today.
Yes, because a lot of those food is medicine, maybe more traditional solutions out there, they're getting at the people who are already sick, or they're throwing all this one-on-one attention at somebody, which is great, but it's also often not scalable, and it's not helping people before they reach that point of really needing that one-on-one support.
And I think too, from when we started Launch My Health 5 years ago, so much has changed. There's more nutrition information. There's a movement in food as medicine, which is super exciting. There's the invention of AI now too. I mean, everybody's using ChatGPT. Everybody's adding AI into their solutions. We are too. Um, but I think the thing about AI, I've heard some things like, well, you can just, use AI and create a meal plan, and you can. The recipes may not work out, but we're so much more than recipes and a meal plan. Those are great things if you want to use AI to do that. Put your what you have in your house into ChatGPT and get recipes. That's great. But we're educating people on health, and that is there's a lot of noise out there. There's a ton of misinformation. Influencers, Instagram, TikTok, you name it, and people don't know what to do. And so we're sorting through that. So we're saving you time, giving you great information that's credible. Credible.
And with that, you all will receive an email from us tomorrow with a recording of today, some key takeaways, and of course, this recipe. So thank you all for joining us. I hope you have a wonderful afternoon.
Is there oh,
You good?
yep. I was just going to ask if there were any more questions. Kristen just put
Oh,
in here
yes.
that they just added us and that we were the number one class plays. Thank you, Kristen, for sharing that. We're thrilled that it's the number one class play. So thank you for sharing that.
Very exciting.
Hmm.
Thank you all. Have a great day. Oh, we've got more.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
Don.
Don.
We'll see you next time. Thank you.